View this English Olympiacos fan show.
What's happening, guys? This is Adi from Theros International, and I am rolling solo today. Had a little bit of connection issues earlier, so I do apologize. Work with me here if hopefully it clears up and we can get the show on the road. A little over a dozen of you have already jumped in. Let me know where you're tuning in from and get engaged in the comments. Let me know your questions. Let me know what your thoughts are. We're here to answer a lot. I've gotten a ton, and I mean a ton of questions about Saint-Maximin, about transfers, the process when it comes to information from insiders, so on and so forth. So we are going to talk about all of that. But obviously, guys, before we get started, before we start talking about anything, don't forget, for those of you that are tuning in, there's people constantly streaming in here right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Every engagement helps us find more red and white fans. The more you engage with us, the more the algorithm pushes us to people who don't know we exist. This is a big community. We have a lot of content to offer, a lot of different people. We now do a Greek show on Wednesdays. Well, we try to do it every Wednesday. So whether you're tuning in from Greece, whether you're tuning in from across the country, we try to accommodate everybody. So hit that like button. For those of you that are tuned in, dozens of you are joining now. Subscribe if you don't already. There's plenty of great stuff going on. You can also check out Patreon if you want to support us and you want to check out even more content. The scouting report for Lorenzo Scipioni is on Patreon. Scouting reports are only available to patrons. Content tier is $5 a month. We give you usually at least 2 extra pieces of content every month. One is usually analytics-based, where we talk about data, we talk about the squad, or it could be scouting reports. And then we also usually do an interview with somebody outside the realm of Olympiacos. So really great stuff, guys. And it's a lot of great stuff on there. Plus, the WhatsApp chat really is worth it in and of itself. Just listening to Martial's musings in the morning, I promise you, is something you would not regret for $1 a month. Instagram, we still have just about a week left on the 100-year anniversary giveaway. Great collaboration with Classic Football Shirts, and you have a chance to win if you go on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, make one. Follow us, read the directions, and one of the caveats is you also have to be a subscriber on YouTube. So if you're tuning in and you want a chance to win, just get that out of the way and go ahead and subscribe right now so that you can have your chance to win the 100-year anniversary jersey. Also, Instagram is pushing to 17K. We are almost just over 50 subscribers away as when I checked before going live, from 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. So help us reach that milestone. It's a huge milestone. It's a lovely number for all of you who are Olympiacos fans. It is fantastic stuff, and we love the growth. We love your support. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our patrons as well. You guys are Last here from Koloniki. I love it. Manos here asking about Brian Zaragoza. We're going to get into this. Dimitri Yasuari, greetings from Barcelona. I love it. Stefano shouting out his homie Clint from England. And Stefano here also. If you're not a Patreon, give me a shout and I'll pirate the videos for you. Love it, Stefano. Love it. Love it. Love it. Someone's getting a boot from the Patreon chat. Stefano, our Chinese infiltrator here. Anyway, so we're going to talk about all of this stuff, guys. And I've been getting a ton of questions. But we'll start with Lorenzo Scipioni. You might have seen the pictures online today. You might have seen on social media. We've shared a few as well. He flew in yesterday, doing his medicals today. We expect the announcement to come shortly. Really excited about this transfer. And if you want to learn more about the player, we've already shared some data. I made some radar charts, some bar chart plots as well, so you can see how he looked compared to the competition in Argentina, how he also looked compared to Santiago Eze in Argentinian, which Olympiacos fans should know very well by now. So you can check all of that out. We're really excited for this transfer. He will be our second transfer of the summer. Third, I guess, if you count Athanasiou, who's going right away to Rio Ave along with Papa Canelos. We'll talk about that shortly. But he should be announced soon. Preseason's around the corner. Maybe another center mid joins before preseason. The club wants 3 different signings before going into preseason. That's not including Scipioni. They want another center mid, a number 8. They want a winger, and then either a center back or attacking mid. So that's what the club is looking to secure before we head to the Netherlands next week. So things are moving, guys. Things are moving, that's for sure. I know there's a lot of frustration, and I'm going to address all of your questions. So keep them coming, and I'll get to them as I can. Dermis Loner already coming here. Greetings, Adi. We need a left back, wingers, because I don't want to, as a fan, see the experiment of Rodinei playing as a winger again. I would love to see Papa Canelos as a 10 in the main team. Unfortunately, my friend, Papa Canelos is on loan this year. It's done. Him and Athanasiou are joining Coach Silaidopoulos at Rio Ave. We wish the best luck to Coach Silaidopoulos. Now, Pneumonidis will be, he's at preseason. Him and Liatsikoras, they are in preseason. Maybe Paris Plionis will also go there. But right now we know for sure Liatsikoras and Pneumonidis will both be in preseason. So really excited about that. Another person that's going to be in preseason, a little bit of a surprise for us, was Yorgos Masouras. Yesterday, it was announced by Tsanakas that he is going to join the team in preseason. Now, this upset a lot of people, and it made some people very happy. So I think depending on what your outlook is, there was no middle ground. There were people like, okay, whatever. People were either super excited for him to be there, or they were super upset that he's coming back. They don't think he's good enough for Olympiacos, even as a squad player. And there were others that just said he's not worth it. We shouldn't have him anyway. I'm going to tell you that here's the situation, the reality. I'll try to be as unbiased as possible. Based on the age of Yorgos Masouras and the profile of the player, we all know what we're getting out of Yorgos Masouras as a player. He's not a real winger. He's more of an inside forward that is playing on the wing. He's 31 years old. You are not getting good resale value. His birthday, I believe, is in January as well. So he's turning 32 this season. There is no resale value for him. He's got 2 years left on his contract. You're not getting much. So I probably, at this point, he's got no offers. Bochum would have taken him if they didn't get relegated. Unfortunate. So now you have 2 things. You have a player you can't really move. You don't have a lot of interest in. What are you going to do with him? At the worst, Masouras is an extremely hard worker. Is he a Mendilibar winger? No, he's not. But he's useful. He's good in the locker room, and he busts his butt. Can't hurt to bring him to preseason, see what happens. Maybe something materializes closer to the deadline, but at least you have somebody there that's going to be productive, that's not going to destroy the locker room, and that is going to train hard. Maybe Mendilibar finds a way to use him. I still believe, that behind the striker in the pressing role that Chiquinho has, Masouras can be effective. He's not as talented as Chiquinho on the ball, but I do believe that he would serve a purpose there. So we're going to see what happens with Yorgos Masouras down the line. A couple more questions here. Dermis Loner asking, why would we pay for Athanasiou and then loan him? We need a left back. Koutsiidis as a center back deserves an opportunity. Why don't we trust the youngsters more? So here's the situation with the center backs, okay? Kalogeropoulos is joining the squad. He's coming for preseason. We are keeping him for the list. He did great at Volos. He had a great 2 seasons for a team that invites pressure, eats a lot of shots, and he did very well. So he's coming in. He'll probably be like 5th choice center back. So, and Kalogeropoulos is not old either. Kalogeropoulos is an academy, or we'll say he's an academy guy. He's a youngster that came out, but he's another one that's I don't even think he's 21 yet. He might be 20 years old. Or if he does turn 21, maybe he turns 21 this summer. So he's young. He's a young player coming back, going to reinforce us. The big replacement we need for center back is that 3rd spot. Because right now, the number 1 and the number 2, Panos Retsos, Lorenzo Pirolo. Those are our number 1 and number 2. David Carmo had lost that starting spot. So what we're doing is we're replacing that 3rd spot in the center back. That's what we're looking for right now. The club had said before they wanted a veteran presence to be there. But if you look at who we're linked with, it's some younger players with high prospects. We're looking at a bunch of players. Maybe, there's that Nottingham Forest prospect, which, as I've spoke to various individuals for Forest, that he's not ready for the Premier League yet. But he looks good. I mean, if you watch Botafogo play in the Club World Cup, Hercunha, who is the center back that Nottingham Forest is linked with, he could be a great option. Maybe we get him on loan, and you have another 3rd choice there. Don't forget, guys, we have Biancon. Biancon's a great alternate as a right-footed center back, maybe 4th choice overall, but 2nd choice for the center back position. He did very well for us, so we have some solid depth there. It's we need a competent center back, that's for sure, because Retsos and Pirolo are not going to be available all the time. We don't know how Kalogeropoulos is going to do in Europe, but he's good enough for Greece for sure. But you do need a competent, and Mendilibar wants a left-footed center back. So far, we have not been linked to a single left-footed center back yet that has been a legitimate link. So going down the line, that's going to be the situation there. Koutsiidis probably will go on loan if he doesn't play for the B team. He needs to get some first-team football before he can be trusted for anything else at Olympiacos. I do believe he's a decent player. Whether or not he's an Olympiacos player remains to be seen, but I think a loan move where he actually does play is going to do him wonders. Now, before I look at any more of the questions that are coming in the comments, there were a couple questions about this that already chimed in. I got a bunch of these questions on socials, so I want to address this here. Alain Saint-Maximin, there was a saga started with an account in England that was giving information that we were close and all this was happening, and people started to get excited about this player. I never bought the hype. Neither did any of us. And, we had some exchanges. We had some exchanges with a lot of people about this. And for the fact of the matter is, and we'll start with the beginning of it, right? So the player, the circumstances on the player's end, he's playing in Saudi Arabia, and there was a Saudi report that Al Ahly, the club that he plays for, wanted 9 million euros for Saint-Maximin. He spent 67 days injured last season for Fenerbahce on a loan. We spoke to fans, a lot of fans of Fenerbahce, who said he was not worth the money they paid for him, even splitting the loan fee with Al Ahly. 7 million, of course, is a fee no one's paying for his wage. Even if, and I talked about this with Vageli last week, even if he cut his wages by 50%, 3.5 million a year in Greece is a lot. Our highest paid player with bonuses is Ayoub El-Kabi, and Saint-Maximin would have been making more than him. You guys know, because it was discussed by Karapapas when we did the interview with him last summer, there's a locker room discussion here when it comes to salaries. You don't want to disturb the locker room. So we never believed that this transfer could happen. Not that we didn't think the discussions weren't happening. We just didn't believe that this could happen. There were too many things. Stars needed to align in a specific fashion for this to happen. It was just very low probability. Low probability that the Saudis would just let him go for free. Low probability that Saint-Maximin would drop his wage to what was acceptable for Olympiacos, which for us, we don't believe we're going to pay anybody a wage over $3 million. It's going to be under $3 million, or $3 million or under, I should say. And to that point, do you believe that this could happen? All of this stuff happens together, and that the player really wants to play in Greece that bad. For us, it felt like nonsense. And every journalist I spoke to about it, I said, listen, I'm not holding my breath. I don't believe it's going to happen. So in that respect, the Saint-Maximin signing, and then of course you had people taking it so far. Oh, it's so close. It's here. They just need to bridge this gap. It's difficult, but it's close. Didn't believe it. Now, does that mean the information wasn't true? A lot of people were getting very upset because there was this Instagram story from the vice president, Karapapas, that basically denied the whole thing. And he said that they denied it, but it didn't matter. People were still coming up with it and doing stuff. And he hasn't even been on a scouting report. He's never been a consideration for Olympiacos, which upset a lot of people because of all the hype that has been built up over the past couple of weeks for Saint-Maximin, which led us to getting messages from you, especially me on my personal. You guys were messaging us under our posts, DMing us, asking, is Greek media, are Greek journalists just idiotic? Are they inept? And the answer is some of them are inept. That's for sure. We have some terrible what passes for journalism here in Greece. Terrible. However, there are a handful of journalists, and we speak to them, that are good journalists. They have great sources, amazing networks. So what I wanted to do with you guys was kind of share how this process works. We've been doing this for a few years now, and I've met plenty of agents. I've met plenty of executives, and I've had a chance to speak to people that are involved in these discussions. I've had a chance to speak to people that are involved in venues for different discussions for various teams, seminars, that kind of thing. And what I wanted to try to explain to everybody is that, sure, while you're upset that this has been knocked down, the process of information flow when it comes to the transfer hype and the transfer train, it's very complicated. Information comes in many ways. And at the same time, the transfer summer is a game. It's a game that's played both by clubs as well as agents and players and individuals. Remember that. It's not as simple as just, oh, there's this information, somebody figured it out and then gave it. Sometimes that's the case. But a lot of times there's information that's fed because there's a way of it. It's to try to get leverage. It's to try to get pressure built on a certain party. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. So when you're hearing the information about Saint-Maximin, and I'm not going to tell you whether the individual that started this whole thing had real information or not, but I'm going to tell you that people that I trust and people that I believe have good information also informed that there was a discussion taking place about Saint-Maximin. And there's levels to that as well. So there's levels to the type of information that's coming in, but then there's also degrees of separation of who is having those conversations. Remember, Olympiacos is part of a network. We're part of a football group, the Marinakis football group, that includes Nottingham Forest, that's Olympiacos, and Rio Ave, for now. There could have been discussions on behalf of Olympiacos by somebody that technically isn't affiliated directly with Olympiacos. Francois Modesto is back under the fold, technically for Nottingham Forest. He could have been having these discussions, trying to figure out if this is a player that could come. And Olympiacos wasn't directly involved in that respect. Do you see what I mean here? There are degrees of separation here. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying Modesto is the one that had the discussions with Saint-Maximin. I'm just giving you an idea with how this works. information when it comes to transfers can get spread in a couple of ways, right? We already talked about somebody finds a piece of information. Maybe it's a family member or somebody. They say it. Agents can also give information. Sometimes agents want to put pressure on. Maybe they have discussions going on with the club and they want them to act faster. They leak some information about somebody else to try to get the club that they really are in negotiations with to try to amp up. These types of things happen all the time. Clubs can get involved, leak information to put pressure on agents or players to make a decision. Happens all the time. Various different ways you can get information. Now, forget about that for a second. Let's talk about ways clubs can go about getting players. They can scout players. Scouting team sees a couple of people they like and they say, hey, this is a player. He plays for a team that probably wouldn't ask a lot of money. He does this, and this is a good find. Club can go look for a player that way. There's also agent finds. We all know Olympiacos, Marinakis, the football group has a great network of agents and super agents. They can go to one and say, hey, we're looking for this. What do you have in your portfolio that fits these characteristics and who might be interested? So the agent has to go talk to some individuals. Maybe he says, I have this. Do these players want to come in Greece? And it works like that. They can approach agents, see what's in their portfolio to find out who is available and who maybe a deal could easily be done there that fits the criteria of what they're looking for. Then agents can come to the club and say, hey, I have this player for you. Happens all the time. We've spoken to agents that tell us, hey, this player is gone. Is the club looking for this? I would like to offer the club this player. Agents have told us this. And they've even asked us the conditions if they're searching for a certain type of player because they would want to offer a replacement. Agents' jobs aren't just, okay, I represent you. Let me make a couple calls here or wait for a club to call me. That's not how it works. They have to be proactive. Look at clubs who are missing things, offer players here and there. Happens all the time. All the time. So just because information may be incorrect or just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean that it wasn't true in a sense, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire in a lot of situations. But what ends up happening is people will blow things out of proportion, make things seem closer than they were, when in actuality, what actually happened was way simpler and way more low-key. This is the nature of transfer summer. And this is what we wanted to talk about, what I wanted to talk about, because so many of you ask questions and then somebody gets something wrong and a journalist who's actually a very good journalist or has very good information, all of a sudden people said, oh, this guy's a loser, he's an idiot, he's a fake insider. Not always the case. There are lots of fakes out there, trust me. Greece is full of them. But in the situation with Saint-Maximin, it's complicated. There's a lot of complications with various rumors like this. So I just wanted to share with you guys that insight because it's insight we've learned over the last few years. A lot of crazy things happen. Look what happens every time we go to Argentina to make a signing. It happened with Santiago Jose, it happened with Ortega, and now, of course, it just happened with Scipioni. Every time we're there looking at a player, somehow Benfica shows up and is looking for the same player that we are. Happens every time. Things to push us to make a deal faster. Maybe Benfica was actually interested, but for it to happen every single time seems a little bit unlikely. So for the Alain Saint-Maximin news and the Alain Saint-Maximin things, I don't want you guys to sit there and go after some journalists that are very good. Things happen. People blow things out of proportion. It is what it is. Is it disappointing that, now we're continuing the search for a winger? This guy wasn't the real one all the time. Yeah, it sucks. It's disappointing. But the process of information flow is pretty complicated. So I missed a lot of comments and questions. So I'm going to get back to that and we'll answer some of your questions here before we get on to the next couple of things. So Lakis Gavalas, if there are no more sales, what do you estimate is the spending budget? So I've gotten a lot of questions about this because people said we're guaranteed a certain amount of money for Champions League. We're guaranteed, sponsorship sales. I think it's the final year of the Cosmote deal, plus now the sale of Babis Kostulas. What is the spending budget? So a lot of you in here are thinking we just sold Babis Kostulas. $35 million guaranteed front fee, $2 million in bonuses we're expected to get. Vangeli had mentioned, we have bonuses that we're going to get for five appearances, 10 appearances, and then a sell-on. So the fee could reach a certain amount of time. But for the sake of the books, you guys need to remember, FFP, Financial Fair Play, which is now PSR, is a very real thing. I believe that our budget this year, we will probably spend about 20 million in sales, maybe 20 to 25 million. That's what I could see us happening. Some of you are probably thinking this is way too low. We should be spending a lot more. But you guys have to remember, PSR, the strictest part of PSR is now in place. And this is how it's going to be for the rest until they change PSR or FFP, the Profit Sustainability Rules, Financial Fair Play. Clubs cannot spend more than 70% of their revenue on transfer fees, amortized, which I'll get into, wages, bonuses, and agency fees. That includes the club staff, by the way. So you cannot spend more than 70% of your revenue on all these things. Not allowed. For those of you that told me FFP wasn't real, and you would point to Chelsea, Panathinaikos with the highest net spend last season, what did UEFA just do? They almost gave Panathinaikos the Kamisi. 1 to 2 million was what they told them they had to pay. They got lucky, and the fine was reduced to 400,000. Chelsea's eating a 25 million euro fine. FFP is real. We are not in the same situation. We have been healthy. We have balanced our books, but we have to be smart about a few things. And before I continue on the segment, I do have somebody joining me here today, so I'm not talking all by myself. Vangeli, πώς πάνε?
Hey man, all good, and you?
It's us again.
I just joined for maximum 1.5 hour due to busy day I have tomorrow. I couldn't join earlier due to migraines. I was a little bit sick from yesterday, so
no problem. I'm glad you joined when you did.
Yeah, I told you if I felt better, I'll join.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, you're here now. We're talking about FFP, PSR. I talked about the Saint-Maximin issue. We talked about Scipioni and his arrival, and I'm explaining to people the realities of financial fair play and PSR.
Really, don't feel so tired about Saint-Maximin case. I mean, I'm exhausted. Everyone speaks about him. Everyone speaks about rumors. Everyone is insider on his side. We say something, we have the follow back from people who might know better or who might not know better. Who knows? I mean, come on, man. Do you want to hear my opinion? If we want to spend money for a player, let's spend that money for Zaragoza. End of story.
I'm with
End
you.
of story.
I'm with you. That's it. And we'll talk about Zaragoza and Borja Sainz next. There were a couple of questions about that. But guys, I want you to remember two things. There are two deadlines, one that passed, one that's coming up, that are very important for the club. We talked about this last summer, and I'm going to tell you again. June 30th was the end of year accounting that was due to UEFA. So June 30th, all the clubs had to balance their books and send it to UEFA. June 30th. July 15th is the sustainability deadline, or the solvency deadline, which means clubs with overdue debts have to provide proof that they've reconciled those debts on July 15th. So you heard some discussions about people saying, oh, we're not going to make any moves until June 30th or after June 30th. And whether or not that's the case, whether or not the club is actually having discussions or waiting is one thing. But these deadlines are very real. For those of you that keep talking about the money we made from Kostulas, remember the official announcement for Brighton. The deal is done July 1st. So the deal was going to be done after the reporting deadline. So Olympiacos could not make the deal or include the deal in any of its paperwork until July 1st. So think about all of this when you're complaining about transfers. I know some of you, everybody is upset. They wanted the 4 transfers done before preseason. We still have some time. We have Gabela who's ready. Scipioni is going to be announced shortly. There's discussion that a center mid could come. Whatever the case is, the reality is, and all of us who've been Olympiacos fans for at least 10 years know this, signings are coming in August, whether you like it or not. I never thought 4 signings were coming before preseason. I thought we would get maybe 2, not including Gabela. 2, 3 if it was in, everything was working great. But this is the reality. So no need to get stressed about things. The deals will come in August. We will probably spend big money in August. That's how I see it.
Where I sign everything you said. Really. In that club, we must have been trained enough and knowing from the past that during August, we have all the movements in terms of transfer and leaves. Without any consideration, we are not the club in the velocity of Atalanta, Milan, Roma, where they can spend money from June to July. At the end of the day, we need to calibrate our expenses and our revenues for the transfers. So I don't believe that we will have any big name during July. Hopefully, we might have something on the sides, on the extreme, but we don't know. I mean,
Dimitri Saradakis is saying that Verveles said that there's a winger that no one's heard of that will be.
Yeah, I confirm that he said that.
Yes, but at the same time, the same was also Nikolakopoulos said the same thing about a center mid as well. That there's a center mid we're looking at that no one's heard of. Look, the club is moving, and we saw what happened last season. Last summer, there were names that came that nobody heard. They just came. So this is how it's going to be, and we'll see what happens. We're going to be on top of it as much as we can, but these are the realities that we're dealt with, and the club is dealt with. This is in the end, guys, Champions League, no Champions League. This is a Greek club. Remember that. A Greek club. Olympiacos will always be held back by Greece in some way, shape, or form, whether you have Champions League or not. It's also the job of the club to look further beyond just this season in Champions League. You can make 30 million in signings, have 3 players making over 4 million. But if you're not in Champions League next year, can you sustain those salaries? Can you sustain those fees that you're paying? Remember, guys, when you buy a player, let's say we bought Saint-Maximin for 9 million. Forget the wages. Let's say we bought him for 9 million. Remember, that gets broken up over years. You sign him to a 3-year deal, you break that wage up, you depreciate it, 3 million every year. So now imagine we still have players' contracts, transfer fees we've played that we're depreciating year by year. That gets added on to the next books. All of these things go on. All of these things are happening that you have to be considerate of, because these are things that limit what we can do, especially with the rules that are in place. Now, would I be disappointed if I see the club not spending money despite the sales and the Champions League? Of course I would. But I'm explaining to you guys that this stuff is very real. And if you've been paying attention the last week, the fines Panathinaikos got, Chelsea, and a lot of bigger clubs than us, you'll realize that these are very real considerations. And the club was not in a good way a couple seasons ago. And last season, we were teetering, made some big moves.
Unless you are Manchester City, you have no fines.
Exactly. That's it. Lakis Gavalas, do you think we are going to break our spending record for a single player this summer?
Not really.
No. Forest might do it for us. I'm not going to rule that out.
You know, something you said earlier about players mentioned by Nikolakopoulos and who else? And Dionysis. about cases that we don't know. You haven't noticed that the last 3 years, every player we signed for Real wasn't public as a name in newspapers or in web pages. And do you remember what Aris and myself told you last time we had the live? That all of these players, they are in public in media, they are just the bait for you to click on the links, click on the pages, give them likes, make traffic on their systems, because sports companies and digital newspapers are paid by advertisement based on the traffic they have in their endpoints, of their infrastructure. So mostly whatever you see in the internet, I cannot say 90%, but a great percentage is a bait. It's exactly the same bait they used for the newspapers. I mean, great newspaper front page. Zé Roberto said yes. Do you remember?
I'm still waiting for Ronaldinho.
I'm still waiting for the Swedish guy. I don't remember his name. He played for Arsenal and whatever. I mean, still waiting for a Hleb as well. Alexander Hleb, if you remember.
Yeah.
Those kind of rumors is just clickbait.
Exactly.
And just, I mean, whatever, you should have been trained through the years. Anyway, I mean, we're not journalists.
There,
but we can, yeah, Castron. Thanks, Alexis. I mean, you remember Castron. Castron is coming, but he came with just a rumor, only that. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that whatever might happen next weeks is something we might never heard about.
There will be more.
You know what? I believe that if we have any case to sign players like Zaragoza, we need to wait till August, because Zaragoza belongs to Alaves or in Bayern?
No, Alaves is that was Vicente. Carlos Vicente was Alaves.
Vicente.
Yeah. And then Milla was Getafe. Zaragoza was oh my goodness. Jesus Christ. Now I can't remember who he was part of.
Let me stay in that comment.
Well, he's Bayern. He's Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I thought, but I wasn't sure. Robert,
but he was playing at Osasuna, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe. Kokalis gave us honey with Rivaldo and Giovanni. Do you remember why Rivaldo left Olympiacos and how? Do you remember the case? He signed 3 years of contract, and the last year wasn't paid whatever was decided because of the huge gap in the budget.
Right.
And he left for AEK because Olympiacos proposed him reduced contract.
Yep.
So, and through Rivaldo and after we had the downfall of Olympiacos under Kokalis' era. Do you remember that? All that expenses? Just for the taste of the fans? Rivaldo gave us stuff, but the club couldn't pay him.
Couldn't sustain it, not without Kokalis pumping money. You know, this is why PSR and FFP rules were made, because when an owner got bored or something happened and he couldn't just dump money into the club anymore, everything suffered. And remember, when Marinakis took over, do you guys remember how much money he put in the first year to cover the debts, to fix the facilities? 100 million euros in 18 months. That's not a small amount of money. So I love the time that Kokalis gave us. I love the memories, but we have to remember, like, and Karapapas told us last summer also, if you make 10 million euro transfers every summer, or you pay multiple players, 4 or 5 million euro wages every year. In 10 years, there will not be an Olympiacos. And he's right. Not until things change at the Greek level. If you can get more money into Greek football, better advertisements, better sponsorships, we can pay and get better players. But right now, everybody has to operate and the business has to be sustainable. Even now,
Yes,
I feel like
exactly.
Olympiacos is the most sustainable, but look at how much we lose every year. Marinakis has to do an AMK every year.
You know what? I don't know if people are aware on the fact that the club cannot spend more money than the actual budget from the previous year. And if current year they don't have sponsorship or kind of donation,
Right.
they cannot spend more money. That's a fact. That's why we have losses. And Marinakis made AMK again and again and again.
Yep.
So without expansion of the Greek league, without big sponsorships, without television sponsorship or jersey sponsorship or stadium sponsorship even, because imagine if a club renames the stadium Karaiskaki, for example, whatever, Bayer Stadium, whatever, from Bayer pharmacy company. Can you imagine that kind of money in a strategic plan of 10 years, how
Right.
they can be spent? So only in that case.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. This is the situation, guys. That's unfortunately it is what it is. And this is we have to work within our means. Because of Champions League and the sale for Kostoulas, we can now make somewhat bigger expenses, but the club has to be smart. Do you want the club to blow its load on one player and what if that player sucks? What if that player doesn't work out and you didn't build a team? Or would you rather the club buy better players? Right. Exactly.
4 million for Velde, for nothing.
Right. Think about it. So if you spend 10 million, let's say we Borja Sainz wants to come. We spend the 12 million for him, but then we're unable to make big signings elsewhere. And what if he flops? Then the same people that are crying for that big bam transfer are the same people that then go, "Oh, this was terrible. We didn't do our homework. We didn't have the right scouting. We bought the wrong player." Can you imagine if we had bought Saint-Maximin and he gets hurt? He spent 67 days injured last season. Can you imagine he gets hurt a month in? What happens then? The same thing.
How well did he perform the last 2 years? It is something we mentioned in the previous live stream. Yes, last week. He underperformed for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Imagine you spend money to bring a player like him in Olympiacos and he doesn't play. Then what? We're gonna say, Marinaki, you brought us the sapakia, as everyone says on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. And then what? Now Marinakis doesn't spend money to bring Saint-Maximin. No, Marinakis doesn't spend money. He just sells Kostoulas to put the money in his pocket or whatever. Other bullshit that Marinakis can take the money from the budget or from the balance of a company for his own interest. Cannot be done.
Exactly.
Different corporate environment for liquidation for those who doesn't know.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
there's a comment here from Dermis Loner. The conversation you have now with Vageli is the base of my argument when I say we should copy Dortmund's plans with our youngsters and spend only for players that elevate us with the experience. We would agree with you. I mean, Costa, we've talked to Per Zetterberg on this show, and he said the same thing about what clubs in Sweden do. We agree with that philosophy 100%. But I believe that in the last year, the club, especially in the last 2 years, the club seems to be going that direction. It's prioritizing having youth and building kids from the academy into the first team. Look, we had the success with Kostoulas and Mouzakitis. Papacanelos got appearances this season. Not many, but he got some. Now look, we have Liatsikouras. We have Pneummonidis joining in preseason. Maybe we get one or two more. The club also didn't stop trying to find players for the academy. It continues to try and find great young players to bolster the pipeline in the academy. Guys like Eric Hamza, guys like Kolokotroni, guys like, who am I missing? Glafku, the Cypriot kid. So I very much believe the club wants to do that as well. The club is invested wholeheartedly into the academy. They understand that this is our path to success, growing our own players. And I believe that they believe this too. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said that Pneummonidis and Liatsoukiras are coming to preseason. They wouldn't have said these guys are going to the B team. They wouldn't have said we're redoing the B team and it's going to have the academy kids there competing with a handful of experienced veterans so that they can get better.
I believe that we have Rio Ave just for the case of development of players only. Only is that the case, at least from my understanding. That's why we have Slaidopoulos there. We have all the players we don't need right now there to develop themselves in a higher competition league, because second division of Greece is not high competition league, is a competition league of access.
Exactly.
They don't play football. So
exactly,
for me, the B team of Olympiacos is Rio Ave. It's not the one who competes in second division.
The Olympiacos B team would be like. Are you familiar with baseball in the United States at all, Vagheri?
Only the
baseball with the bat.
Yeah, I mean, I use it only just for protection. Have it here in the door.
So the way the system is for development to get to the pro leagues is segmented like that. There's different levels and teams in various areas that these organizations use to throw players in to gradually develop them to the first team.
Okay.
So like the B team would be like our entry, they would call it the minor leagues, like the A league. And then Rio Ave would be what we would call like AAA, which is the level just underneath the pro league. So you have various things, and we seem to be creating this type of system so that we have different stages of development so that players can then be ready to play for either Olympiacos or maybe even Nottingham Forest. Vagheri, I think this comment from Hussein, we don't comment on this enough, and I think people need to recognize this a lot more too. Hussein said, we said it before that we do our best with what we have. Also, we know we can win it all without big names. We just need correct scouting. Who cares? Crying fans, literally. He's right. We won the Conference League without the BAM signing. Maybe the biggest one for that Conference League win was Podense.
Ibora.
That wasn't a BAM, though. That was
the biggest name was Ibora. Wasn't Podense.
Come on, man. Podense was a bigger name. Podense is a bigger
sure
than Ibora. Come on. Podense played in the Premier League. He's got millions of followers on social media. He definitely has the bigger net. And he was paid a lot more, too.
I mean, we don't speak about salaries. We speak about career. Ibora made have 5, 6...
Well, so 5 European titles. Yes,
5 European titles, 4 Europa 1 conference. Ibora was the biggest name. End of story.
In terms of career, yes, I agree with you 100%. I meant more so in terms of like the following and the around him, because Podense plays in the Premier League and he was big because of that. That's where I was going, at least with that. But yes, I agree with you 100%. But I think Hussein's point stands. We built a great team. Even if it didn't work out the first half of the season, Mendilibar proved that we had a great unit that could compete better than its individual parts. And that's the most important part of building a team. And we need to continue to do that. You don't want to grab big players that don't fit in the system, which, by the way, Saint-Maximin, I still, for the life of me, would not figure out where he fits in the system, but that's a different story altogether.
I believe that he wanted, if He wanted just to throw the ball in the open spaces, and then Maximin carries the ball and delivers in the box, and El Kabi or somebody behind him scores. Only in that case I can see him fit in Mendilibar's system. But what I believe, as we speak about system, that season we're gonna play 3-5-2. Imagine how many players we have for the central line. I believe is the season where Mendilibar can deploy 3-5-2 system in the highest efficiency ever. That's why we're interested about central line players mostly right now.
I think it's just simply because we run our midfielders into the ground, and we need more. And we also we need real options at the defensive mid, not just relying on Mouzakitis. Mouzakitis and of course Santiago and Danny Garcia. We need for the Champions League. We need more options. That's just it. Period. Or at least that's how I see it. There was a comment here from AB saying we're 0 for 2 on 4 million purchases. Santiago Heze was a 4 million purchase when we first got him. I don't think that was a miss. And Francisco Ortega was a 4 million purchase as well. And I would argue that we didn't miss on that as well. I think especially this past season, I think he improved big time. I don't necessarily. So in that case, I would say we're 2 for 4 because Velde was a bit of a miss. But and Biel is a victim of chaos in a way. This guy came in under one coach. He played under how many coaches? Look at the success he had before coming to Olympiacos and look at the success he's having now at Charlotte.
Biel never played in his original position. Biel plays behind the center forward. He's not extreme.
Yep.
And when he played behind the center forward, he played well.
Yep.
End of story.
Yep. I even said it in the scouting report for him. I was like, if we use this guy on the wings, he's going to suck. I still remember that. And we reference that all the time. It's just a shame. There was a question about his buyout too. Somebody had asked. Charlotte extended the loan till the end of the year, till the end of the MLS regular season. But the obligation to buy is still there as long as he hits the number of games, the target number of games. That didn't change as far as I'm aware. So just so everybody knows. And it's a €3.5 million option, which would make it a net positive. We would make money off of that. Sunji, I don't want transfers. I would prefer Pneumonides. Well, he's going to be.
You can't go. Yeah, yes, you can't go and compete in Champions League with Pneumonides only.
No, you can't. Yeah, you need to have at least a couple of players.
Yeah.
Pneumonides, I think he'll be serviceable. But remember, ideally, these guys, Pneumonides, Liatsikuras, ideally they'll get probably 10, 15 games this season. Ideally. Kostulas and Mouzakitis, because of the situation we were in with how poor our wings were performing and how difficult things were in the center mid, were exceptions. I don't think we'll see that again. Mm-hmm. I think we'll see the kids get 10 to 15 games this season. Personally. If they get more, fantastic. I'm happy. But I think ideally that's what the target is for the club. Your most promising ones, they play some games, 10, 15, probably mainly as substitutes, and that's what you're looking at.
Nicolas says, what are your thoughts about Scipioni? We had our comment on Scipioni in a previous live last week. What we said is for me, it is a mix of Guilherme and Esse. I saw his last game with Tigre where he scored. He moves the ball directly to the front line and he can break through the lines. He have great finishing abilities, and I believe he's gonna give something different in our middle line. But everything will be presented on the court. We cannot make predictions right now for new players. I mean, it's not possible. Also, you need to keep in mind that people from Brazil and Argentina take some time just to be aligned on the club structure, way of playing. You remember Bellucci took 1 year just to play in Olympiacos.
Yep.
First year was nothing. Next year was better.
Yep. And don't forget, Nicola, you can check out Patreon. The scouting report is up there. It's done. I published it yesterday. So you can check out the scouting report. I published it this morning. No, it was last night I published it. I'm losing track of time. But you can check that out there. Join Patreon. All the data's there. I go through the tape, hours of tape I review before I put this together. So you can learn a lot more about what he has to offer on that scouting report. Just check out patreon.com. You have to be a content tier member to check it out.
I don't believe Yazici will play for Olympiacos. Yazici was spotted yesterday in the airport of Istanbul or in Trabzon. I don't know why he was in Turkey. I saw that on X. I don't believe on him, really.
I'm with you there. We talked about this last week too. Personally, I like him as a player. I think he's a great player. But the question you have to ask yourself, people seem a lot incapable of doing a lot of times, is ask yourself, is he a Mendilibar player? Is he a Mendilibar winger? Remember, Mendilibar doesn't like a Decari that we're used to. He doesn't like a number 10 like we're used to. He also wants his wingers to run the lines and make their crosses in.
Mendilibar doesn't use a 10.
He doesn't use a 10. So he's a great player. I really, really do like him as a player, but I do not think he's a Mendilibar player. And I also don't believe I will be surprised if he suits up in an official match for Olympiacos and he's not gone by the end of the summer. 28 years old. He's still at an age you can get some money from him. So we'll see what happens. But I am really not positive about that case at all. Nico asking, do you think we should sell Yazici? Whether we should or not is one thing. Whether we can is another. We'll see what the club decides, but I don't think he's sticking around. It's not whether I believe he should.
It's not easy. Imagine you are a club and you want to sign a player who had he has touch last year.
His ACL, right?
Yeah. Would you sign him without any official game for a year? It's not an easy case. What I believe, if Olympiacos and Mendilibar will not use him, they will release him for free.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because no club, no serious club will put money on the table for a player with 0 games and a very serious injury.
I agree. Comrade Aries is asking, if Yazici is not a Mendilibar player, why did the management bring him in? There's 2 answers to this question. First, remember last summer when we interviewed Karapapas, he had told us that Olympiacos doesn't get players that the coach directly asks for. The coach asks for profiles, and then they present him with players. So that's one. Second thing is, remember when Yazici signed? When we signed Yazici, early on in the season, we had a lot of finishing problems. People were complaining about creativity issues. This was a signing that was done before the deadline to get somebody with creativity in, and then he ends up tearing his ACL his first 10 minutes out on the field. Not even. So that's the situation. Now, we can have a conversation about whether we agree in what Mendilibar wants or whether we disagree in what he wants. But the fact of the matter is, the club does make moves on players. And in some cases, the coach either has to just deal with it or say no, and that's it. He'll be given a chance in preseason, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But again, for the reasons we've already discussed, don't think he'll be sticking around very long.
It's that kind of period that we might not have hot things just to discuss for the club, because every week we recycle news, recycle rumors. I believe we need to be patient about the next days and next weeks. I believe we might have a signing before the start of Preseason. And according to what Verveles said and Nikolakopoulos, honestly, we might don't know who we're going to sign next days.
Yep. Question here from AB. The approach about player profiles, as you described it, is that common across EU clubs? So it is, but a lot of clubs are different. It also depends on the coach and how long he's been there. Look at Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone he's involved directly in the picking process. He's been around there so long. Mendilibar, I do believe the club lets him pick and has let him pick players. Look what he's done for us. We won the double. He won us the Conference League. I think that affords a coach ability to say, I want this or I want that. He asked for Danny Garcia as well. Maybe he didn't ask directly for the other players that came in, but he definitely asked for Danny Garcia. So I think that there's like a happy median, and different clubs are different, but I've spoken to quite a few scouts. I've spoken to quite a few agents. I've spoken to quite a few different football executives for different clubs across Europe. And enough for me to know that seems to be the more common practice, is that the scouting departments try to identify profiles that the coach likes and then try to fit what he wants within that. In reality, the coach cannot do everything. The coach needs to focus on being a coach, getting his unit together. He has to tell them what he likes, and then the rest has to be done by others. Pedro Martins tried to do everything himself, and look how that turned out. It's the way it is.
I'm just reading the comments. Well, yeah.
From Robert Yorgos. Guys, Fortunis played for Mendy and we won, but even he didn't play as a 10. He has the 10 in him. That's the whole point. Yeah, but look, that's you made the point right there in exactly what your comment said. Fortunis is a traditional 10, but Fortunis had to completely alter how he played under Mendilibar. He had to completely change to fit the system Mendilibar wants and has. So what we're saying is Yazici would have to do the same thing. Now, could he do it? Yes. And if he does it, great. I will be happy. But not everybody would do what Costas Fortunis did to match the system, especially when he's not comfortable. Look at Willian. Willian didn't like how he was being used under Mendilibar's system when we cut his contract. I mean, this system is not easy and it's difficult. That's also part of what's making it difficult for us to find players.
Yeah, I have to say something on that, because you say it is difficult. Indeed, it is difficult and it demands lots of effort and lots of strength on the player's body. What if Yazici roll back with his injury and he will be injured again in the same leg? Then what? Why we need to keep him?
The other leg, usually, how many players injure their ACL in their other leg because
they stand on the other leg. That's exactly why. So
exactly,
he stands on the other leg when he's moving, when he's shitting, when he's going to the kitchen just to grab a coffee. Imagine playing in the field.
Yep, exactly. So there you go. Oh, Hussein,
Yeah.
news from Turkish media that Yizic is talking to Trabzonspor and Besiktas. Yeah. We've only been saying this on this channel I've been saying it for months. But I feel like I'm getting vindicated everywhere here. First, it was the Saint-Maximin, the PSR. It comes in waves. I'll take it. I will take it.
Let's don't speak about Saint-Maximin again. It gets me nervous, really. Come on, really. I mean, it's a joke.
Here's a question for you, Vageli. Which central defender do you think we should get? Because Karamo is gone and Vretos is very injury prone this past season.
If we have one chance to bring a great CB, is if he wants just to leave from Premier League and plays in Champions League, is Milinkovic, for my taste, without any expense, just a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Easy answer.
I think Yizic has already torn his other ACL. Oh boy.
You know, Kordelica on Yazici.
Give him the Trabzonspor we do have some non-Greeks I know, or non-Greek speaking individuals that were tuning in. It's a nice ribbon, a nice bow on the top of the present. So that's always my favorite when we talk about like transfer rumors on the socials, and the first comment comes in and it's me Kordelica. That kills me every time I see it.
That's why I said that, because I remember from the chat.
It kills me. Comment here from Comrade Aries. Fortunis did rupture both ACLs and then 2 to 3 years later adapted from Mendy's system to win the conference. Yeah, he did. And quite frankly, I would not have expected him to do that either, because Fortunis, from everything we had heard, did not have the work ethic. But, you know, the birth of his child changed him, and he became a better leader.
He said that
in that last season.
It's not our word.
Right. That's also true. So that's that. Do you expect that's something Yazici would do? I don't know. His career tells us otherwise. But anything can happen. Anything can happen. GS Adrielson from Lyon. There were rumors of him coming. Yeah, there's rumors because Lyon is distressed. Marinaki's been doing a lot of business with Textor, buying players from Botafogo, selling players, buying players from Lyon. I would not rule that out. That is a great opportunity. We love opportunities. Adrielson's not a. There's also another one. The kid from America that plays for Lyon, Tessman, the center mid or the defensive midfielder. He was another one that that name popped up as somebody. But anyway, there's going to be a lot because that's a distressed asset. Lyon, the whole Textor group, distressed assets. So some great deals to be found when the club you're dealing with needs to sell players. So that's going to be a great opportunity for us. Here's an interesting question. George Kadilis, longtime follower. Are there any free agent wingers that you guys know of that you would take or think that would be a good fit for us? Before, I would have taken Sosa.
Do you still believe in Sosa?
I think he would have. I believe that the club was going to spend money on one big winger and basically no money on the other one. So if I had to pick one winger that we weren't going to spend a lot of money on, that was more of a veteran, I would have taken Sosa.
I would have spent the money for Zaragoza.
Oh, I mean, I'll spend the money for Zaragoza too, but I'm talking about the second one, the second winger. We need two. We're looking for two.
You can have Cabela.
but we still need two besides him.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you know what? I prefer to have less player in the club, and they perform well, and they can change positions, and they can play in higher efficiency instead of having a plethora of players, and they will play in a mid-range game.
I see what you mean.
But why Andrielson when Chaleta is right there?
Shaletta Shar is going to a bigger league, man. He's that guy's
and that
price.
player is not for Olympiacos.
Yeah, the Shaletta Shar will go to a bigger league. I promise you that. That guy's. I remember when we played against Marseille, and he was with Marseille. He's a fantastic player. He's going to go somewhere else.
About Lyon, Giannoulis. Okay, interesting. About Lyon, there are a lot of gems in there, and I know the personal relationship between Lyon player and Marinakis, and how that can be viable for us, let's say.
Right. Textor. Just the Textor relationship.
Textor, yes.
So there's... Oh, I had I pulled up some of the free agents. I was looking at the free agent list in Europe to see who's available.
You know, Chris, Tolison Veretout, yes.
Oh.
Man, imagine players playing in the Ligue 1 in France, coming and playing against Ofi Pagritio or in Yedikoule, with all the respect of Ofi, because I lived 7 years of my life in Heraklion, and I was watching Ofi very close. I was living very close to Yedikoule in Taminia of Heraklio. Those players have Greece as the last choice of their career.
Exactly.
I was in Metz in English, next to Luxembourg is the city of France, where Metz FC plays there. Have you seen their stadium? Last year was relegated.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Also, have you seen the stadium in Strasbourg? From Strasbourg? Great stadiums, great infrastructures. Those players played in the highest category of leagues. They will not come to Greece to play because of Olympiacos. Okay, Olympiacos have stadium. I have stadium. PAOK doesn't have stadium. It's very old. PAO, same. Larissa only. And who else? A decent stadium, mid-range and low-range category is Panetolikos Stadium, because it is under development still. But next stadiums, where they're going to play?
Right.
In Ceres, with the mud.
Right.
And the water, where they're going to play? Do you remember Giannina? In Beaki Stadium? Come on.
Or La Mia. My God.
La Mia, fuck me. Yeah.
The standing water that sits there, unbelievable. Hey, you know whose contract ends in a few months, and he'll be free? Messi. Just saying. Well, Thomas Muller's a free agent.
Thomas Muller is very, very decent player. Despite
35 years old, his contract is up in July 31st.
That guy is German.
Yes.
And that ends every discussion about development or effort or anything.
Yep. Let's see.
If Messi ever come to Olympiacos, I will hit a tattoo with his face. First
trying
here
to see what other
in that live.
Who else? Who else is a free agent coming up? There's wow. Unas, Adam Unas. We were linked with him before. He's a free agent.
Who?
Adam Unas, the Algerian kid. We were linked with him last summer. He's a free agent. He's the right winger, left-footed right winger.
No clue.
But he's a free agent. Maybe we'll see him come back around. Who else is a free agent? Let's see. This is not a great list, man. There are not a lot of great options to look forward to.
Man, we have Grok.
There's not a lot of great options to look for. For the wing position, at least. You know, actually, that kid for Copenhagen, Rooney, he is a free agent as of December. I'm assuming they're going to renew him. But he would be very interesting. He's a right winger. Inverted winger. Swedish. Well, he's like Syrian Swedish.
Okay.
So that's an interesting option.
We have some interesting free agents. We have a very interesting left back and right back.
Oh, you're looking at everybody. I was just looking at forwards.
Yeah. Forwards. Okay, let me go to the forwards. We have...
He signed for Barcelona. Never mind. Thank you, Adis.
I would have signed, if I had any chance, Danny Ings from West Ham.
Oh, really?
And Callum Wilson, yeah, man. Also, if you are interested, Anthony Martial is getting free agent.
Oh my God! Wait, are they cutting his contract?
I don't know. It's something AI gave me.
I know. I had read
free agent.
I had read an article that Ike was trying to find a way to cut his contract.
A lot of money.
That's funny.
A lot of money. But they are a good opportunities. Also, man. Jamie fucking Vardy.
Oh my God.
Why?
He wouldn't come to Greece, man.
Let's make the live yellow stream. Let's make it. Come on.
It's not.
Give me some effort. Jamie Vardy to Olympiacos. Can you imagine?
That would be hilarious.
Chamos, Vertis, Red Bull, Chivas whiskey with Coca-Cola. Fightings outside the night clubs.
Oh my God.
20 goals per season. Red Bull, cigarettes, Marlboro Red, and whiskey.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. George Kadidis asked out Cerny from Rangers. He doesn't want to come to Greece, man.
No. Also, the other player was interested by Ajax as well. Dessers doesn't want to come to Greece. That's why we didn't proceed with the signature. And Ajax said again and again, all the Ajax journalists, Ajax is close to Dessers, Ajax is close to Dessers. No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's
not easy. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy.
Game.
I mean,
take a look.
Oh my God.
These are good stuff.
Oh my God. Jamie Vardy would be that guy would be. He would just be a powder keg. Can you imagine? Oh my God.
I would like him, mate. Really. If we had any chance to have a third striker, I would like him. He gets in 20 minutes, scores, done.
Heard a rumor
No.
Kostulas will be loaned. That's not happening, man.
Not at all. Kostulas got a contract for season player, not just for reserve.
He's not. That's not happening. He's not getting loaned back. They spent too much money to loan. Look at the players Brighton has spent more than 15 million for, and then come back and tell me how many of them got loaned out the next season.
Say it again.
How many players did Brighton spend over 15 million for? And then look how many got loaned out the next season. Very few. He's not getting loaned back to us. Not this season. So Zaragoza and Gil would have to wait. We would have to wait until August for him. Remember, guys, August is also, it's not that the club wants to wait till August, but some of these players want to see what options they get. Greece is not a desirable destination. Greece isn't even a top 10 league. Now, if Greece becomes a top 10 league again, maybe things get a little bit easier, but the profile of the Greek league is not amazing. And that's what holds us back. As much as we're in Champions League, we do this, we do that. Playing in Greece is not, glamorous right now compared to playing in France, compared to playing in Spain or Germany or England or even Portugal, or the Netherlands. Like those leagues are better leagues than Greece. They're higher profile. So this is what we have to deal with. So unfortunately, these players that we're targeting, even if we're going to spend big money for them, they don't always want to come to Greece. That's the situation.
There is another one case of free agent striker with 12 goals in Primera last year from Espanyol, Javi Boado. 12 goals in Primera last year.
Not a bad option. If I had a bigger priority for forwards, I would consider it. I think.
But if we focus ourselves into defenders, we have lots of great opportunities. If we sell Ortega,
yes,
we have. Where was it?
There's not a lot of amazing interest in him, though. That's the problem. If we're lucky, we get maybe 7 million for him.
7 million for Ortega?
Yes, the last individual I spoke to, the best offer we had for Ortega was 7, or the most interest we had was the discussion was around 7 million. That wasn't even like a real offer. It was just a discussion. Okay. So you're not going to get much for him, unfortunately. He's not enough goal contributions to warrant more. People want wing backs that put the ball in the box. If we sell Ortega, I saw George Kadilis' comment. If we sell Ortega, it's not because Bruno's better. It's because we're getting another replacement. I know that Giannoulis is a player that is of interest, but he's too expensive.
Every Greek player right now is too expensive.
The Greek players that would be good enough right now for us to buy for Olympiacos are too expensive. The ones that are having success. Like, look at Zafiris. Forget about it.
If I had any chance just to sign a free agent for the defense, would be Nelson Semedo. From Wolves.
I saw somebody bring his.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent now.
Yeah, he's free agent.
Wow. Oh, that's not a bad. That's not bad at all. The only thing is, though, if you bring him in, what are you doing? Are you pushing Rodinei forward?
Rodinei proved that he can play forward. You don't push. He wants it. If he didn't want, he would have refused to deliver.
Yeah, that's also true.
He likes to just hear the stadium with the boo and the reactions when he's taking the ball and have crossings. He loves that.
I don't think you would be starting Rodinei over Gelson. Gelson, it would be probably those two, unless we signed other wingers, depending on how they do. But anyway, we're just, these aren't legitimate. We're just talking ideas and players here at this point. But guys, we are in almost an hour and a half in here. For those of you that haven't done it already, don't forget, like and subscribe. Help us continue to find more red and white fans. We've kind of talked about just about everything as we begin to get ready to wrap up here. Vageli, is there anything else you wanted to chat about before we started to close things up?
No.
So that's, guys, don't forget also Instagram giveaway. There's about a week left on the giveaway. So enter for a chance to win the 100-year anniversary jersey. A lot of people have already entered. And if you're in here and you don't subscribe already, just hit that subscribe button, because that's one of the requirements in order to enter to win the jersey. So subscribe, follow us, Patreon. The scouting report is up for Lorenzo Scipioni. He's a very exciting player. I am excited about him. I can't wait to see what he does for us. And I can't wait to see what he does in preseason. Before we wrap up, though, guys, one final thing, and that is patience. Have some patience, boys and girls. Signings will come. I know we all want them to happen faster rather than later. But things will happen. If we don't get all 4 signings that the club was talking about before preseason, don't worry about it. We want the club to make smart decisions. The scouting department has been finding some great players. Scipioni is one of them. He's a great find, and they're going to find more. So don't stress out. Go outside, enjoy a freddo, have fun. It's not a time to be stressed over stuff like this. We'll see what happens with the friendlies and what goes on after.
If you are in Greece, just enjoy the sea and the good weather, because here in Luxembourg we have 15 degrees right now and it rains. And next week we have 38 again.
Oh my goodness. Well, in 2 weeks, that'll be me enjoying my freddo on the beach in Greece.
How long will you stay?
I'll be there until I leave. I fly from here to Greece on July 20th, and then I come back on the 5th of August.
Okay.
So
we might meet in the States.
There we go. We'll see when you come to the States. Costa's actually in the States now, so I can't wait to see him.
Give him a t-shirt, the old one.
Okay, I got you. What's
large?
Large? Okay, so you're the same size as me. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And Hussein, buddy, I will be messaging you when I'm there. I'm there for my sister-in-law's wedding, so I'll be in and around. Don't worry. Every summer I spend at least a few days in Palido, so I'll be around. Don't worry. Berg from Bodo, this will be the last comment before we go. There's discussion there, but there's nothing concrete. We've talked to a few people that are close to the situation. The club is pursuing backup options because Mia probably is not happening. So they're not budging. Getafe is not budging from the $5 million that they want for him, and we're not paying $5 million for a center mid. We're not paying $5 million for a 30-year-old center mid, I should say. So
exactly,
it is what it is. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the hundreds of you that listen to us. So this is Therios International, by the fans, for the fans. Vageli, is there Greek Wednesday this week?
Where? Greek Wednesday? Yeah.
Are you doing Therios Padou?
Man, when you said Greek Wednesday, and I imagined we have Greek Wednesdays in Luxembourg in clubs, and they playing Greek music, and I had just a slap in my face. What is he talking about? Yes,
I'm coming out to Luxembourg for Greek Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, check it out.
We will have news. We have a lot of hot stuff. We have presidents talk. Earlier today, we might have announcements. Right. We have a lot of stuff.
You guys had Manolo on last week too. That was a very good episode. Sure. Very awesome episode for basketball. So, guys, check it out. And then I got some of your comments. If you guys can watch Thidros Padu on YouTube, I put the English subtitles in. So for those of you that are not native Greek speakers, I did put English subtitles. Funny enough, YouTube translates Greek to English way better than it does English to Greek. So it's the subtitles are very good. I double checked them myself. So so check that out so you guys don't miss the conversation. But look for that on Wednesday. Vageli Costa, Dimitri, if he joins, and anybody else who joins, is going to be huge because there's a big announcement, hopefully, for basketball that we're expecting. And we might have visitors.
Yeah.
We love it. So, guys, thank you all for tuning in. This is Thidros International by the fans for the fans, and we'll see you all next time.
Olympiacos Melbourne would like to thank these sponsors for their support. Try us now with a free session or support any of our sponsors on our website and get 4 free sessions.